Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Greetings, Algo artisans. Nick Pietruzzello here, aka the Algo Cowboy, and I'm going to teach you how I built this trading algorithm right here. I'm going to teach you which indicators I used. They're very common indicators, free on almost any platform. I'm going to teach you how to turn this algorithm into computer code. I'm going to teach you the tools that are often used to take that computer code and turn it into an automatic trader so that you can have this trade for you while you are not at the computer, whether you're sleeping, playing golf, whatever it is you like to do. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to know are which indicators I used to create this algorithm. If you're already a trader, some of this will be review for you. If you're not, it's easy to learn. These are beginner type indicators. The first one is called MACD. Let's take a look at it. MACD, moving average convergence divergence, one of the first indicators a lot of people use. We're going to do some brief terminology here. First thing you need to know is this yellow line. It's not normally yellow. I just wanted you to be able to see it. It's called the 0 line. You can see it says 0 way over there. This blue line is called the MACD line, and this red line is called the signal line. There are 2 conditions for this indicator in order to make this trade happen. There are other conditions for the other indicators, but we're going to go over these right now. And first, we're going to talk about a long trade. We're going to talk about trades betting on the price going up. All these conditions must occur at the same time. The first condition is that this blue line, the MACD line, must be above the yellow line. The second condition is that the blue line must be above this red signal line. Both of these conditions must happen at the same time. Therefore, when this blue line crossed above the red line right there, and then they both crossed above the yellow line, in particular the blue, that's when this indicator's conditions for a long trade were met. And as long as the other conditions for the other indicators are met, the computer will take the trade for you and go long. You can see it briefly pops below right there, but when it comes right back up, the computer will take another long for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at conditions for a short trade. Taking a short trade means you are betting on the price going down. The first condition is that this blue line, the MACD line, must be below the yellow 0 line. The second condition is that the blue MACD line must be below the red signal line. So you can see the condition was met there and also here. As long as the other conditions are met for the other indicators, the computer will automatically trade for you to go short. Let's look at the next indicator. The next indicator is called the Stochastic RSI. The terminology that you need to know will be this percent K line. I'm just going to call it the K line. It's the blue line. Then there is the percent D line. I'm just going to call it the D line, and it's that orange line. Also, this purple line is a value of 80 on the top and 20 on the bottom. So let's talk about the conditions for a long trade. The first condition for the long trade is that the blue line must be below 80. So anything up here will not trade. But once that blue line pops below the 80, it's possible that the conditions could be met. The second condition for a long trade with this indicator is that the blue line is above the orange line. So with the blue line below 80 and crossing above the orange line, right there, the conditions are met for the Stochastic RSI to take the long trade. And as long as the conditions are met on the other indicators, the trade will go long. The same is true right here. The blue line is well below the 80. It's all the way down here, crosses above this orange line right there, and the conditions are now met for the Stochastic RSI to go long. Let's talk about a short trade. Again, a short trade is pretty much the opposite. The conditions are such that the blue line, the percent K line, must be above 20. The second condition for a short trade is that the blue line is below the orange line. So as long as this blue line is above 20 and then goes below the orange line, the conditions for the Stochastic RSI to take a short are now met. And you can see it happens here multiple times. There are other conditions for this entire algorithm to take a short, but these are the conditions for a short trade for the Stochastic RSI specifically. Let's go ahead and take a look at our last indicator. It's a very simple one, and it's called ADX. ADX stands for Average Directional Index, and the way this works is that this yellow line talks about trend. So I put a line right here at 25. That's my particular way of doing this. If you ever optimize this algo, you might adjust this, but for this base algorithm, the rule is that the yellow line must be above the blue line to take this trade. That means that price is starting to trend or still in a trend. Once the yellow line goes below this blue line, it will not take any trades. Those are all 3 indicators and their respective conditions. Once all of those are met, the trades will happen. And this particular indicator, it doesn't matter long or short. It just matters that the yellow line is above 25, above the blue line. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to Grok.ai And I'm going to type in the conditions while you watch so you can see what it looks like as it generates the code. So here I am on Grok, and I'm going to tell it each step of the way what I'm doing. So first I tell it I want to create a Pine script coded indicator by using 3 other indicators under specific conditions. We say algo, it's going to know what indicator. I like to use the term algorithm because that's what it really is, but for this purpose, we're going to call it an indicator. The 3 indicators I use will be MACD, Stochastic RSI, and Average Directional Index. The MACD conditions for a long trade are as follows. The MACD line must be above the signal line while also above the value 0. The %K line must be below the value 80 and also must be above the %D line. The average directional index condition is as follows. The ADX must be above value 25. We're going to bet that Grok knows that ADX means average directional index, and we're just going to call it that from here on out. And I'm pretty sure it's going to work out that way. A little bit of a risk in large language model prompting. We're going to see how that goes. The MACD conditions for a short trade are as follows. The MACD line must be below the signal line while also below the value 0. The stochastic RSI conditions for a long trade are as follows. The %K line must be above the value 20 and also must be below the %D line. The ADX must be above value 25. Okay, these are all of the conditions. I believe they are correct from double checking. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and we're going to have it spit out the code. Okay, so here is Grok's script right here. All we have to do is click on this little square right there to copy the script, and then we go back over to TradingView. So the way to put code into TradingView to create an indicator that you will see on the screen and that we can use to execute trades, the first thing that you do is you go to the Pine editor down here on the left-hand corner, and you click that, and then you can use this button to maximize the panel. Now, it might be that you see some code in here, so you just go to where it says Untitled Script, and you create a new indicator. And you scroll up, you delete up to version 6. You could delete the whole thing, but then you're erasing your licensing, so I just delete up to version 6, and then I paste what I copied off of Grok. Now, there's probably going to be an error or two, and the way to find the errors is to add it to the chart. You'll see no indicator actually occurred, which means that there are errors. And you can also know that by looking right here, knowing that there are errors. And we're going to go ahead and maximize our panel again. You see your first of 2 problems. Could not find function or function reference TAADX. Your second problem, if you hit the down arrow right there, will be version 5 is outdated, and we don't really care about that problem. So we'll just worry about this issue. And the way to fix this is you copy, so you highlight, Control C, you go over to Grok and you say above script has following problem, please fix problem, and give me updated script with corrected line inside of complete script. Sometimes it'll give you just the fixed line. You have to copy and paste it. That's fine. I just do it this way because it's easier. So here's the new script. Going to take a second to put out, and go ahead and copy right here. Go back over to TradingView, and you can just scroll from bottom to top, delete it all, or if you wish, you can do like I talked about before, scroll from bottom up to your licensing, up to where it says version 5 and delete that, and you can get rid of this problem and go ahead and paste, and then add to chart will compile the code for you, and it looks like you have an algo here. Interesting. I wonder what these purple lines are and this yellow line. The way we can look at what these are, there's a couple ways. You can go over on this top left here and click on the settings, and it'll take you to this page, or you can actually go here and just double click on any part of the indicator that it put up for you. So for some reason it put the K and D on the chart. Easiest way to get rid of that is just double click on it and uncheck these boxes, and you'll have a clean chart with your algos right on the chart above and below the bar. Now sometimes you have other issues. There's ways to fix them. It's part of the discovery process. Code is funky like that, but now you actually have your algo on the chart. You have these longs, which are excellent, and you can control this once you get into strategy mode, which is really easy to do. You can say, I only want to take 1 or 2 trades. You don't want to take 10 trades here. That's not a good thing to do while trading. But you can see here, this short is a big winner right there. These longs are winners. That short's a winner. You know, they're not all winners, but this is a pretty solid algo. I mean, really, this is a big winner. All these are winners, and it seems that the earliest trade is going to win the most for the most part. So the way that we manage that is we have to change this into a strategy, and it's very easy to do. You go back to Grok and you just type please change above indicator into a trading view strategy. You hit enter. and it just adds a couple of lines to code to it that will change it into a strategy, and TradingView can track it and you can use it to automatically execute your trades. And then you can copy this code and do the same thing that you did before. Go back to TradingView, maximize your panel, copy all the way up. You can go just up to version 5 if you wish, doesn't really matter. And then you can paste and you can update on chart. Then once you've done that, you can get rid of your K and D lines. Not sure why those are there. The other way about it is you could go back and tell Grok, hey, I don't want these on there, right? Now what it's done here is you get longs and shorts and it tells you when. Now it seems to have gotten rid of the triangles, so let's go ahead and take a look at that and see why. Not that you really need the triangles, but let's put them back on. I like the triangles. So here's a little bit of a pro tip. I wrote here above code deleted the triangles, indicating when to take a trade. Please add the triangles back on. I want green triangles for longs below the bar, red triangles above the bars for shorts, and I want the triangles to be pinned to the y-axis. So you want to pin the triangles to y-axis because otherwise they float and they're not going along with the bars. Let's see what it does. Let's see if this works. Okay, we copy, go back to TradingView, click on Pine Editor, open our Pine script panel, copy from bottom to top, go to version 5, paste, and then update on chart. Okay, we have a problem. Let's go back and see what it is. The plot shape function does not have an argument with the name price. Let's copy that and run it through and see if this gets fixed. Above script has error. Please fix and compile and create updated complete script. Okay, we're going to copy, go back to TradingView, delete the error, scroll from bottom to top, go to version 5, and paste. And we will update on chart. Good, everything's fixed. So we get rid of our K and D lines. I'd run that through the code to get rid of it, but in this case, I'm just going to get rid of the lines. It's quicker that way, and it's beautiful. So you'll see that there's a series of trades here, but you only have one trade. So how do we fix that? Double click on the triangle or go up to the settings up here either way, and then go to properties. And what you do with that is you look for pyramiding. Right now it says pyramiding 1 orders. Well, what if you want to do 2 trades? You type in 2, you hit OK, and you notice that there are now 2 trades taken when conditions are met twice in a row. So you can control that. I'd say 1's probably the way to go with this particular indicator, but I just wanted to show you how to fix that because there are other algos or indicators where it is good to pyramid in. And if you know how to code it, or if you can get AI to do it for you, you have the capability to go ahead and have it do it with certain conditions. And your next question is, how do I plug this into my exchange? Well, that is going to depend on what exchange you're using. Now, TradingView has a really cool thing for manual trading where you can go to your trading panel. And if you expand the trading panel, you'll see that there's all kinds of exchanges. Oanda is what I like to use for Forex trading. NinjaTrader is popular. Interactive brokers for stocks. For crypto, you have Bitstamp, you've got Binance. If you show all brokers, you'll see Binance in there. BingX, BitGet. I mean, there are so many different exchanges for manual trading, but the problem is that TradingView doesn't automatically execute your trades. Last I checked, and I think it is actually a legal issue. So how do we fix that? Well, it depends. If you're a Forex trader, primarily like I am, then what I like to use is something called tradingconnector.com. Now, what this does is it sits on your computer and then it tells MetaTrader 4 to make the trades for you. Now, MetaTrader 4 is kind of like an API. It's kind of like a TradingView in and of itself. It's a little more clunky. You can write indicators on it. We're not going to do a MetaTrader 4 tutorial today, but the way this works is that you start with TradingView, where your algo is, and then you have MetaTrader 4 running. Now, MetaTrader 4 will automatically execute on your exchange. So you have TradingView tell Trading Connector, which is sitting on your computer, to tell MetaTrader 4 to tell your exchange to trade. It's that simple. Setting it up requires a little bit of work, and we don't have enough time for that in today's video, but that's the essence of it. You got TradingView, and this will be Trade Connector, and this will be MetaTrader 4 or 5. Either way is fine, and then this will be your exchange. And that's what I've had the best experience with for Forex trading. Now, how does it work with crypto? Well, crypto generally is going to require a third-party API, and you could do something called webhooks. And basically, a third-party API is going to be sort of like Trade Connector, but it's online. It's also like MetaTrader 4. So basically, you can connect TradingView through something called a webhook to one of your third-party, like 3 commas is a solution that's very popular, at least it used to be. And then that third party will go ahead and tell Binance or whichever exchange it is to make the trade. And there are a lot of different solutions for this kind of thing. Webhooks tend to be involved for crypto, not always. You can actually sometimes put your code right on the third party, but you might have to understand how to convert from PineScript to this. And PineScript is really a great language. I like using that because I'm not a coder, but my coder really likes using PineScript. He says it's perfect for trading. So building an algo here can also be done on MetaTrader, and perhaps I'll do a different video on that, but this is just as well, and the diverse nature of the coding and the type of indicators and the other indicators that you can borrow from on TradingView make it a really good place to make your own algorithm. So this is how it's done. And once you do this, the next thing you need to know is how to properly test it. And I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's part of the Algo Factory sort of secret. But one thing you'll need to know about trading with an automatic bot, having a bot trade for you, is it's not all what it's cracked up to be. You're going to have to go through several weeks of testing to know how to run it, when to run it, how to optimize it, things like that. Now, there is a strategy tester in TradingView, and the last I checked, its calculation for entries, its fills, it wasn't really that accurate, especially for multi-time frame type algos, which is what I like to use. It was telling me that I get these amazing returns, but in real life that wasn't the case. So I'm a little reticent to trust this. So what this is doing is supposedly backtesting this algo. And of course, this doesn't look that great because I don't have any kind of exit conditions, right? It's just going to take a trade and probably lose the trade. It does show how well some of these trades go, but I haven't told it, okay, exit the trade at this point, or these are the rules for the exit. So every trade is going to lose. So you're going to have to learn how to code those types of exits. And that could be as simple as going in and saying, hey, please exit once you're at this risk to reward. You're not even telling it what kind of stop loss to use, right? We're not getting that far into how to use this, but just understand that this strategy tester does exist and they are constantly improving the code. So you might be able to save yourself time on backtesting at one point. But like I said, the last time I checked, especially when it came to multi-time frame analysis, this was not accurate. So I'd be very careful about using this. On top of that, I always recommend that you manually backtest all of these. And the reason you want to do that is because it's going to give you a feel for how well this does. And you're going to be able to determine what kind of entries and exits you want. And we teach all that stuff over at Algo Factory. I literally just gave you what looks to be a profitable algo. And I did that just to show you how it's done. And I did it within roughly 15 or 30 minutes. I could have done it faster if I was not explaining what I was doing. And being able to do this is kind of the dream. Imagine trading while you're not at the computer. Well, in order to get there, there are some other things you have to know. 99% of trading is not clicking the button. You're going to spend some time making the algo, making sure it works, but a lot of it has to do with backtesting, optimizing, learning how to treat trading like a business, and your trading psychology is key. Even with an automatic trader, what can happen is that your trading psychology can trip you up. Almost everybody I know who has failed at trading failed because of their trading psychology. So like I said, come on over to algofactory.tech. We'll show you all these things. I can help you with how to optimize, test, get this going. We hope to see you soon. Learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro, and thanks for watching.